Okay, I think we are live. Let me know if you could see and hear me. Give me a thumbs up or something. Okay, so hi, thanks for joining me and happy Saturday. I am Denette Covarrubias and I am a love coach. I help women attract high value men who are ready to commit in marriage for life. And the reason why I'm qualified to do this is because I manifested my husband down to his date of birth, his profession, his ethnicity, along with the other common traits like, you know, he takes care of me, he brings me coffee in the mornings, he goes out to nature with me, he prays with me, all of that stuff, every detail. If you have not seen my vision board picture comparison with my husband's picture, you should definitely check it out. It's phenomenal and they look identical. They're both even wearing blue shirts. And it's not just me. Most recently, one of my biggest joys of my life was I got to officiate my student's wedding with her husband, and he was a high value man who committed to her immediately, and they got married pretty much exactly 6 months after the day they met. And so today in this live video, live training, we are going to cover the same topics that we used to manifest our high value man who is committed. So before we get into what manifestation is, let's talk about what manifestation is not. There's so many things that you hear, and one thing, and keep in mind, all of these things I'm going to say, I use them myself. For example, crystals. I have one right here. But what manifestation is not: crystals, moon cycles, affirmations, positive thinking. While, like I said, all of these could be really good resources and they are beautiful spiritual practices, they are not the things that are going to manifest your husband or anything else. So then what is manifestation? And how can it help us attract our perfect husband? Number one thing to remember and consider about manifestation is taking radical responsibility of your life. It's saying that you could get what you want out of your life, and that your inner world matches your outer world. So it's somewhat spiritual just because it's saying that we're all one and we're all connected, that your inner world matches your outer world. One of my favorite quotes is from Carl Jung, and the quote is, "Until you make the unconscious conscious, it's going to drive your life and you are going to call it fate." And that pretty much sums up how taking full responsibility for your life is. Okay, so manifestation, and this is what I've come up with through taking what can be a complex process because it's life, into just summing it up, is manifestation is knowing exactly what you want in detail while simultaneously growing your belief in your worth that you can receive it, and at the same time staying calm through the difficulties that are going to come during that process, because it won't be smooth. You're going to get people that you think might be the person but isn't. And so to stay calm with your emotions and not react during that time is really key to this. And I think what science calls it, and this is another big buzzword, is regulating your nervous system. So let's break this down. I have some notes here. And too bad I can't see like who's on. I'm doing it different. Typically I'm on my cell phone, and I'm coming in on my a new camera that I have. And so I'm not able to see who's on or who's watching, so yeah, okay. So let's break this down. All right, number one, authenticity to your heart. Manifestation needs to be authentic to you. You have to be real. You have to be real with yourself, and you have to be real with others. And the reason why is because you could end up getting something that you don't realize that, oh, actually, I don't really want this, but it'll take you 2 years to figure that out. And you don't need to go through that time. You don't need to go through that heartache. You don't need to go through that drama and trauma. If you just do a little bit of self-awareness before you start calling in the person, you could avoid all that. And, you know, for a long time, because I always wanted to follow my heart, I wanted to be authentic, but I was like, well, what is the heart? You know, we know it as this muscle right here, but like everyone talks about, well, follow your heart. And I feel like it's the same thing that most people call the unconscious. So it's like, it's definitely not thought. It's deeper than thought, yet you can't really grasp it. It kind of feels like this dark closet behind your thoughts that you know you could feel, you know they exist, and you feel like you are tapping into it, but it's not really tangible. So following your heart is almost like tapping into your unconsciousness. Your not unconsciousness, your subconsciousness. So that's number one, authenticity to you and what you deeply want. Okay, number two is belief in your worth, that you can receive that thing. And I'm still working on this myself, so I'm telling you, you can manifest your ideal husband without fully grasping your full worth. This is, if you know my story, you know that me not knowing my worth has been my biggest struggle, my biggest heartbreak in my life. And so I'm still working on this, so don't feel like you need to be like completely tapped into your worthiness in order to manifest your perfect husband, because you don't, but it is a really big part of it. Also, like what you want, is it always pushing you to be bigger, like to receive more love? Because I feel like the universe or God always wants us to wants us to receive more love. And if what we want is pushing us to receive more, well, then we know that it's pushing us to get more of our worth, tapping in more into our worth. It's expanding. It's expanding our spirit. It's expanding what we're allowed to, the goodness that we're allowed to receive, the love that we're willing to accept without running away. And that was really challenging. Like when I first met my husband, I was tapped into my worth. I was expanding it, but then my husband came and he didn't have to apologize to me for, you know, like being emotionally immature. He didn't have to apologize to me for, you know, like liking girls on Instagram, like liking girls' pictures. He didn't do any of that. And so I realized I would create scenarios and fights with him just so I could feel familiar with my past, because he wasn't doing anything, and it felt really calm and it felt really soothing and relaxing. And that was me expanding into my worth, that I'm able to receive that type of love without the drama. And so one way for me, one practical way that helps me expand my worth so that I could receive my desires, is that, that time, like when you're in a situation and it feels like uncomfortable, like being still or quiet. And so like you do something, or you bring something, or you buy something, or you say something that you think it's going to add to who you are, add to your worth. During those times is a good time to practice just being still and quiet. When you feel like you need to buy something, don't do it. Or if you feel like you need to say something like that has wisdom or funny, don't say it. Just be comfortable with you being enough in the situation without adding anything. And if you could practice that more, it gets easier and easier to expand on your worth. And number 3 in this is details of what you want. And when I say details, I don't mean superficial stuff like a color. Like, and we'll use a man for an instance. Like, I'm not talking about like, you want a man that has dark hair or blonde hair, or a man that's tall or short. Ask yourself what that means to you. If he's tall, if you want a tall man, what does that tallness represent? Is it because you are tall and you feel insecure by looking down? It makes you feel like you're not feminine enough? Is it because you're short and you feel protected? So get intentional about what that tall means. Why would you want him tall? And be really, really honest with yourself and face that truth, whatever comes up. And that, some ways that you could do that, obviously everyone talks about journaling, which it is. I feel like it's the way to get to know yourself. So like, write it out. You can even speak it out. Go out into nature and talk about it. But maybe if you want him tall because it makes you feel safe, maybe it's really security that you want and not necessarily the tallness. So get clear about that and get intentional. As well as, don't think about like the attributes he has. Think about more your day-to-day activities with him. When you wake up, how does he wake up? How does your morning look with him? How does, what is the first thing you guys do? I know that I read an article before I manifested Ali, and a guy was talking about he was going to make his wife coffee. And because my worthiness wasn't there yet, that expanded me to believe, oh, maybe I'm worthy enough for a man to make me coffee. And I really wanted that because I tapped into the authenticity of me without like the thoughts and like, oh my God, Denette, you never saw that as a kid. A man doesn't make coffee. You want a masculine man. He doesn't do that. I didn't listen to those thoughts. Instead, I tapped in to like my body and to what I call my heart, like that dark closet. And I was like, yeah, I really, really want a guy who makes me coffee in the morning. And so I knew exactly in the morning, like I knew I was going to get coffee in the morning with him. So what does your day look like with him? What does lunch look like with him? How does he sleep? What are some of the funny things he does? What are some of the things he loves about you throughout the day? How does he make you feel throughout the day? So think about those step-by-step minutes. Or like one of my favorite coaches in the world, her name is Juliana Garcia, and she teaches how to attract premium clients. She calls them similar to what I'm saying, but she does it with clients. It's interesting. She calls it minute-to-minute manifestations. How do you want that to look? And so the fourth one, this is staying calm during this process. And spirituality would call it, spiritualists would call it surrendering. You surrender. You speak what you want. Even religious people would say pray to God and let it be, and then like let it go. So you speak what you want, and then you move on with aligned action with what you want. But it's staying calm. Like I think science would probably call it, your nervous system, regulating your nervous system. So identify what you want, speak it, but then move on. And then there could be people that come into your life that you think are it. You could bring him.
No, I just was and me not color.
You could bring him, but no.
No, it's fine.
Okay. So yeah, so staying calm. Sorry, my son is crying and I want him to come on camera with me. So, by the way, I did the same thing with my son. Like nobody in my family or Lee's family had boys. but yet we wanted a boy, as well as we knew what zodiac sign we wanted him to fall under, which means he had to be born within 30 days within a whole calendar, and we ended up getting exactly the zodiac sign and the sun that we wanted. And that was just by doing these steps that I'm talking about. Okay, so anyway, so staying calm it's maintaining internal stillness, and these people are going to come along and you're going to think, wait, are you him? And that's when you don't cave. That's when you stay strong in what you want. And also you've done the work beforehand to know like what is a non-negotiable for you and what can you negotiate, because sometimes you might have to negotiate something small. So resources to aid in your manifestation process. So I know there's two things I'm going to talk about that are going to help you tremendously in all three steps. I know typically you hear journaling, meditation, affirmations, and regulating your nervous system. So what I want to do is talk about the two things that I don't hear anybody talk about ever, but they have brought the most transformation to my life in all of these four processes. So much so that I still use them today, and that it's a priority for my family to use them. And that is, number one, it's nature. Spending time in nature will help you with all those steps, because when you observe nature, you'll understand yourself better. You'll be able to see how nature interacts with itself, and you'll be able to understand why you interact with yourself or the world better. As well as it helps you get more calm. It helps you release anxiety. The details also help you get detailed about what you want, because you're observing nature and you see small details in nature, and then things start to click for you. And I think also too, when I think people that work on the nervous system, they talk about how walks, or maybe, I think there's like nature baths and all that kind of stuff that show that nature, all the time, health benefits with nature. You can look it up. And then the other resource that will help you with all these steps, these four steps, is awareness of your breath. What I mean by that, well, first of all, let's think about what the breath is. It's literally the thing that keeps us alive. We could go longer without anything else before we die, but without the breath, how long can you go? I can't go long at all. Yet it's the one thing we're not even aware of in our own bodies, in our own nostrils and mouth. We're not aware of our breath going in and out of our nose. So what I'm saying here, a resource for you, is being aware of your breath. Be aware of your breath when you think about what your heart wants, or when you feel what your heart wants. Be aware when you think about the details of the kind of husband you want. Just be aware of your breath and be in nature, and it will speed up all these things much quicker. So in practical applications that you could take away is stay focused on what you want. That's what manifestation is. It's literally getting everything that you want. There will be people who come into your life that are close to what you want, but not exactly. Keep moving forward and treat yourself the way you want to be treated by your ideal partner in that time. Keep your awareness on your breath and spend time in nature to stay grounded and aligned with your desires. And so, in conclusion here, manifestation is a powerful tool. It's a practical tool. It's just really expanding your worth, knowing what you want and going for it, really. But when you apply it correctly, you really do get what you want. I've done it with even my dog. I have proof. I have a picture of my dog 2 years before I got my dog, and then I got my dog, and they're identical. Be authentic to who you are. Be truthful to your heart. Be truthful to yourself. Be truthful to others. Believe in your worth that you can receive what you want. Get detailed about who he is and what he looks like and what your day looks like with him. And then stay calm as you receive it. Be at ease. And if you are in Chicago area, I'm going to have a live training doing similar stuff, same topic, next month in August on the 11th. And so if you're here in Chicago, I would love for you to attend. It's a live training right here in downtown Chicago. Or if you are not in Chicago and you would like to know a little bit more about my signature program, it's called Nature's Heartbeat with Denette. We go, it's 5 months dedicated just to you, and we kind of go through this, but at a very deeper, obviously, process, because we are able to focus on just you, your needs. You could either reach out to me or go to my website, denector.com, and there's an application on there. You can fill that out. And I look forward to seeing you guys next week. See you next time.